Denver wants people to ditch their cars.
We're all really excited about it. It gets a lot of people on bikes that maybe wouldn't have normally considered bikes.
The city's popular Ebike voucher program is starting today, but you'll have to hurry to fill out an application. Aurora is cracking down on stolen cars, how the city is pushing for tougher penalties for thieves. And former White House strategist Steve Bannon changes his mind. He says he's ready to testify before lawmakers investigating the attack on the U.S. Capitol.
I expect that we will be hearing from him, and there are many questions that we have for him.
Plus, how you can own a piece of Avs Stanley Cup final history. The House Select Committee in Washington, D.C. is getting ready for another public hearing about the U.S. Capitol attack. We'll hear testimony from a former spokesperson for the extremist group, the Oath Keepers, and Donald Trump's White House counsel, Pat Cipollone. Another person set to testify, although it's unclear when, is former White House strategist Steve Bannon. He ignored the committee's previous subpoena for testimony. Justin Finch reports from Washington.
Former White House chief strategist Steve Bannon says he is now ready to testify before the January 6th committee, claiming Donald Trump has lifted the executive privilege order that had prevented him from complying with the Select Committee's subpoena. In letters obtained by ABC News, former President Trump says he's waiving executive privilege now because of how unfairly you and others have been treated. A letter from Bannon's lawyer adding he's ready to testify because circumstances have now changed. But Bannon's claim that he was ever covered by executive privilege has been called into question by Trump's lawyer. In an interview with Justice Department officials, Trump's attorney, Justin Clark, stated that at no point had Trump invoked executive privilege over Bannon's testimony, that information contradicting claims from Bannon and his defense team.
All hell is going to break loose tomorrow.
It's statements like this made on January 5th, one day before the Capitol insurrection, that the committee wants to question Bannon about. The panel wants to hear if Bannon knew anything about events planned for January 6th. Bannon's past refusal to cooperate with the committee now has him facing criminal charges for contempt of Congress. Bannon seeking to testify live, but committee members prefer to record their interviews.
Anybody that wants to come in that knows information to talk to the Select Committee, we welcome them to do so. We welcome them to do so under oath.
The committee also planning to present new videotape testimony from former White House counsel Pat Cipollone about what he saw and advised leading up to January 6th. Cipollone's testimony lasting some 8 hours, and more requests for testimony are coming into the committee. Like Steve Bannon, Oath Keepers founder Stuart Rhodes is offering to testify in a live public hearing, but that appears unlikely. Justin Finch, ABC News, Washington.
ABC's coverage of the January 6th Capitol attack investigation starts at 11 a.m. tomorrow. You'll be able to watch Denver 7 News at 11 on Denver 7 Plus.
I'm trying to tell you this for years.
Let me finish my comment.
President Joe Biden's speech on tougher gun measures was interrupted by a father of a Parkland shooting victim. The president held the event at the White House to tout the new bipartisan gun safety law. He signed it into law last month, which includes things like enhanced background checks. He was joined by survivors and family members of victims of mass shootings, including Columbine and recent shootings in Uvalde, Buffalo, and Highland Park. The Uvalde, Texas community is demanding authorities release video of the police response to that shooting at Robb Elementary School. 19 students and 2 teachers were killed in that shooting back in May. Families have demanded to know why it took police more than an hour to take down the shooter. Officials have a 77-minute video from hallway surveillance cameras, but have only released still images so far.
From the mayor down, nobody's telling the people nothing.
We want answers. We seek justice and we demand change.
Now it's up to the district attorney to decide whether or not to release that video. The Uvalde County Sheriff is expected to testify before Texas state lawmakers about the police response. Colorado ranks #1 in the nation for car thefts, and it's an issue Denver 7 has been following over the past few months. This map from the Colorado Auto Theft Prevention Authority shows car thefts. The Denver Metro saw a 61% increase between 2019 and last year. Denver 7's Christian Lopez explains the way Aurora wants to crack down on that crime.
We are seeing lots of people heading to work this morning. Any one of them could become the next victim of a car theft. And to prevent that from happening, city leaders are moving forward with an ordinance that would create mandatory jail time for car thieves. First-time car thieves could face a minimum sentence of 60 days in jail, while that punishment would be even harsher for repeat offenders. They could spend a minimum of 120 days in jail. Colorado is ranked #1 in the nation for car thefts per capita. In Aurora, the number of car thefts has gone up 239% in just the last couple of years. City Council member Dustin Zvonek introduced the ordinance last month, saying he felt forced to take action.
I want to send a very clear signal to car thieves that Aurora is not the city to steal cars. My goal is to make Aurora the most punitive city when it comes to car theft, and that I won't negotiate away.
While some city council members did support the ordinance, others questioned the effectiveness of it and brought up concerns about how much this would all cost the city, as well as the fact that this would put a lot more people in jail. Reporting in Aurora this morning, I'm Christian Lopez, Denver 7.
Also in Aurora, the city has a new camera system designed to stop drivers from speeding. The pilot program is designed to help police monitor speed limits in neighborhoods and in school zones. Violations are reviewed before anyone is cited. The city says it will issue warnings for the first month of the program before giving out tickets and fines. That program starts next month. Well, get ready for a major traffic switch along the Central 70 project this week. You're looking live where the change is going to happen between Brighton and Colorado Boulevards. Now, right now, both directions of traffic are using the westbound tunnel. All traffic is going to be detoured Friday night and all weekend long, so CDOT can realign the lanes. And when the tunnel reopens on Monday, eastbound traffic will shift to a new tunnel. Now, this tunnel is actually opening early. The original timeline called for it to open later this year. Construction is ahead of schedule, and I-70 should be in its final configuration this fall. Denver 7's Jason Luber toured the new tunnel and asked how CDOT was able to get so far ahead.
That viaduct demolition was critical path for our project, and we couldn't build this until that was done. That finished about a month and a half sooner than we thought it would, and so it's been able to accelerate really everything downstream of it.
Now, the westbound tunnel will close starting at 8 Friday night, and both tunnels will reopen by 5 a.m. Monday morning. Denver wants to make it easier for you to get an e-bike. The city started accepting applications for its rebate program just a few hours ago. As Denver 7's Veronica Acosta reports, this is a popular program and applications will likely run out.
Starting today, the city is giving 2,000 vouchers for these e-bike rebates. Half of those are going to be for people who are income qualified. Rebates for all of Denver residents are $400. That rebate sharply increases to $1,200 for those who are income qualified. Now, in order to meet that income qualified requirement, an applicant has to be either enrolled in Medicaid, SNAP benefits, the state's low-income energy assistance program, and there are a few other options as well. I spoke with 2 bicycle shops in town. Both are spots where you can get one of these e-bikes with that rebate. Those we spoke with say the income qualified aspect of all of this is ideal.
That helps a lot of income qualified folks who normally would be using buses and trains and stuff to get around town have their own transportation to be able to get to the store, get to work.
I think the reason why the program has been so popular is because it's giving opportunity to people who maybe wouldn't typically be able to afford an electric bike. You know, a lot of us just need context. We're already paying insurance, gas, high prices for our car, high prices for public transportation.
Right now, 5,000 people are registered to be notified when the application opens up. And just remember, there's only 2,000 of these vouchers going out, so it's really likely they'll run out today. The good news is there will be a new application open on August 1st. In Denver, I'm Veronica Acosta, Denver 7.
Doctors are tracking a new Omicron subvariant of COVID-19. It's the most transmissible and has already made its way now to the U.S. The new variant, BA.5, accounts for more than half of new cases nationwide. Meanwhile, Moderna plans to submit data for an updated vaccine to the FDA this week. That vaccine is supposed to neutralize antibodies against all variants, including the new Omicron subvariant. Doctors are also saying previous COVID-19 infections do not guarantee protection.
You could theoretically be infected with multiple Omicron subvariants.
The U.S. is averaging about 100,000 new cases per day. Hospitalizations, though, are just at a quarter of what they were in January, which was the peak of the Omicron variant. Here's a look at Colorado's COVID-19 cases. New cases have been relatively steady, ranging from between 1,000 to 3,000 over the course of the past few weeks. That's still much lower compared to the Omicron surge back in January. Fresh off their Stanley Cup victory, the Colorado Avalanche are changing up their front office. The team tweeted this morning that Joe Sakic has been named president of hockey operations, and Chris McFarland has been named general manager. Now, Sakic just won the NHL's General Manager of the Year award and was previously in a role as the GM and president of hockey operations. McFarland was previously the assistant GM. You can own a piece of the Avs Stanley Cup win. The team is auctioning off things like game-worn jerseys, locker room mats, and warm-up pucks. You can bid on the website ksc.givesmart.com. All the money raised goes to Kroenke Sports Charities. Still ahead, the Broncos ownership group is getting a new member with ties to Denver. Plus, firefighters are trying to control a wildfire in California, putting some of America's iconic trees in danger.